Am I the asshole for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door stays until my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house? Let me set the scene. My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his house after his divorce. Things were rough, so my wife and I did what good family members do. We took him in. He moved into our home along with his 18-year-old twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane. Now my wife and I have a 16-year-old daughter named Zoe. Zoe's the kind of kid who keeps to herself. She's quiet, responsible, works part-time, saves her own money. Basically, she's the least problematic person in this entire story. And at first, everything was fine. The girls weren't best friends, but they got along. I thought, cool, we're all adults here. What could go wrong? Oh, I was so naive. After about a week, Zoe comes to me, clearly upset, saying, "Dad, Olivia and Sloane keep going into my room and taking my stuff." I ask, "Like what stuff?" She says, "My clothes, my phone charger, my accessories. They even took my school laptop." And I'm like, okay, maybe it was just one time. So I go talk to the girls. I say, "Hey, Zoe's not comfortable with people in her room. Please ask before borrowing anything." They nod, smile, and say, "Okay, Uncle. Problem solved, right?" Nope, it just got worse. A few days later, Zoe can't find her AirPods. Then it's her hoodie. Then her favorite perfume. Every time, it's magically in one of the twins' rooms. I bring it up to Sammy, thinking he'll handle it. But he just laughs and says, "Oh, come on. That's just how teenage girls are. They borrow each other's stuff. It's harmless." My wife agrees with him. She says they're just bonding. It's normal. Bonding? I don't think theft is a love language, but okay. Anyway, the final straw comes when Zoe saves up for over a month to buy this $60 MAC makeup kit, the kind that looks like an artist's paint set. She was so proud of it. 2 days later, she finds it on her bed, destroyed. The colors are all mixed together, the brushes are ruined, it looks like a toddler finger-painted with it, and she's crying. Full-on sobbing, I ask what happened, and she tells me she saw Sloane using it earlier that day. So I go to my wife, show her the ruined makeup kit, and she just says, "I'll tell Sloane to apologize." Apologize? That's it? At that point, I realized something. My daughter was moving her stuff out of the house, literally packing up her valuables and taking them to her friends because she didn't trust anyone in her own home. That was it for me. I got Zoe a lock for her door. Now, here's where the drama truly begins. The next day, Sammy sees the lock. The twins see the lock. And suddenly everyone's offended. Sammy's like, "Why is there a lock on Zoe's door?" I tell him, "Because your daughters don't understand the word privacy." He gets defensive. Instantly. He goes, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal for girls their age to share stuff. Zoe's just being dramatic." I tell him, "Sharing is when both people agree, Sammy. This is called stealing." Then he goes, "Your daughter shouldn't even have expensive makeup. She's 16. She's trying too hard to act like an adult. You're babying her." And I just stared at him like, what does any of that have to do with your kids ruining her things? Then he says something that really ticks me off. "You should have your wife deal with this defect in Zoe's personality." Defect? At that point, I was done being polite. I told him, "This is between me and my wife." "But that lock stays." Of course my wife's not happy. She says, "You're embarrassing me. You're making it look like we don't trust my brother and the girls." I said, "We don't, because they keep proving we shouldn't." She insists, "You're overreacting. You should treat them like daughters." I said, "Then maybe they should act like daughters. Not burglars." She demanded I remove the lock. I told her flat out, "That lock doesn't come off until your brother and his daughters move out." And that was apparently the moment I became public enemy number 1. Now everyone's giving me the silent treatment. Sammy, the twins, even my wife. She says her whole family is going to hate me for implying I want them out, so I reminded her. I let them move in. Me, because her own family refused to take them in. If they had stepped up, none of this chaos would even be happening, so maybe, just maybe, she should redirect some of that anger toward them. Now the house is tense. Zoe barely talks to anyone. My wife won't look at me. Sammy avoids me completely. And every time I walk past the twins, they roll their eyes like I committed some huge crime by installing a $10 lock. But here's the thing. Zoe finally feels safe again. She can relax in her own room without worrying about her stuff disappearing, and if that makes me the bad guy, then fine. I'll be the bad guy, because I'd rather have my daughter feel protected than have a bunch of freeloaders treat my home like a shopping mall. So tell me, Internet, am I really the a-hole here for wanting my daughter to have privacy in her own house? Or should I have just let my brother-in-law's kids keep raiding her room for bonding purposes? Because at this point, the only thing those girls have been bonding with is other people's property. And hey, if you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Would you have put a lock on the door or just kicked them out entirely? Stay tuned because the family drama around here, oh, it's far from over.